Heat beat. We'll talk about the Heat's failure last night. I don't know a better way to say it, but failure. That was a really important game to win. Really important game to win. It's a game they should have won, and they came up short. Lifeless, poor defense against Memphis. 4 o'clock hour, we're going to talk with Juan Cardona. Want to go over the roundtable segment for today, and this is a serious one. I mean, some of these roundtable topics are a lot of fun. Some of these cover heavier stories. We like to try and cover the biggest stories in sports, whether it's a local or national story. This is very much a national one, of course. So the roundtable question for today, and if you don't know how this works, guys, every day, all the shows, the weekday shows, Toast and Marsh in the morning, Kai midday, Big O, and then me, we all weigh in on the biggest local or national story of the day. And at the end of the day, after 6 p.m., our guy Alex Aguirre makes a master cut, and he podcasts it. So you get all of our thoughts spliced together for the roundtable. So the segment for today, after listening to Ashley Solis describe her experience with Deshaun Watson, that was one of the accusers who spoke out yesterday. And if you haven't seen the video of her little testimonial that she gave, I would highly recommend watching it. If you follow sports and if you've been following this Deshaun Watson story and maybe you have an opinion on it or you're not sure what your opinion on this story is, I would encourage you to watch Ashley Solis. You can pretty easily find this, I think, on social media and on YouTube. Please find She was the first of the alleged victims to actually come forward and put her name behind it and speak out. There was another victim who has released her name but made a statement through her lawyer. But Ashley Solis was actually videotaped speaking. So the question becomes, where do you stand now with this case? And what has changed in your point of view since the first case came forward? So 2 things have changed for me. I'll start with that. The first of those factors that has changed in the way that I view this Deshaun Watson story is the sheer number of accusers. If you ask me what's changed since this whole saga started up until now, the first thing that's changed is the sheer number of accusations, right? Back when it was 1, 2, 3 lawsuits, at that point, I could wonder if, is this some sort of a conspiracy? Is it some sort of a smear job being orchestrated by Texans ownership to try and, get revenge on Deshaun Watson for wanting to be traded? I'll admit that when the first lawsuit became public knowledge, these are some of the thoughts that were running through my head at that point. But this has gotten so big now, my friends. I can't, and you can no longer ignore it. You cannot ignore this now. It's gotten so big now that Deshaun Watson is losing corporate sponsors. We got the news today. Both Nike, that's a big one, Beats by Dre, that's another big one, have already decided that they suspended it. So I guess, if his name is somehow cleared, I'm sure open to renewing. But they have decided to suspend their endorsements of Deshaun Watson, and I expect others to follow suit. I don't know exactly how many companies he has behind him for a big name playing that position. I would imagine there are a lot more, which probably means a lot more are going to pull their endorsements very soon. The other thing that's changed my point of view on this case, it comes from the testimony we heard and we saw from Ashley Solis yesterday. Up until Tuesday, all of the accusers were anonymous, right? Now that you can put a name, a face, and a voice behind the accusers, the charges against Watson are no longer a whisper. They've become a scream behind a megaphone is now what they've become here. I thought, I've been watching a lot of different shows and listening to a lot of different shows, and I've heard many different opinions on this case and on what Miss Solis had to say and how she said it yesterday. I thought Max Kellerman made an excellent point on First Take this morning. And again, I encourage those of you who haven't, watch what Miss Solis had to say. if Ashley Solis is lying, she's in the wrong profession. She shouldn't be a massage therapist. She should be an actress if she's lying. Now, it's hard for me, after watching what she had to say and listening to it several times since yesterday, it's hard for me to listen to her words and to look into her eyes in that video and think she isn't telling the truth. And I know that, listen, I don't have any proof. It's her word, court of public opinion, but I had a hard time watching that and thinking she's lying. I would have a very hard time thinking that. She seemed very honest to me. And again, I thought Kellerman said it well. If she's lying, she should be an actress, not a massage therapist, okay? It's very hard not to believe that. There are now 22 lawsuits filed, at least 24 accusers. If just one of these women are telling the truth, it's going to be bad for Deshaun Watson. And here's the bottom line, guys. No matter what happens with these civil suits, Watson's reputation, for better or for worse, I don't think will ever fully recover. You know, because what we do know, whether or not he's guilty of sexual assault, what we do know is he's apparently booked massage therapy sessions with over 40 different young women over the past year or so. So at the very least, that's odd. Okay, that doesn't prove criminality, but at the very least, it looks off, okay? People who need frequent massage therapy tend to find someone they like and stick with them. They tend to have a pretty tight rotation. They're not branching out to 40 different people. A couple of weeks ago, Deshaun Watson's own lawyer, Rusty Hardin, admitted, because he was trying to discredit one of the accusers. And in doing that, in trying to discredit one of the accusers, he admitted that Watson had consensual sex with one of the accusers. So, okay, you're basically admitting that you're booking massages looking for sex partners. So the question, it becomes consent, but it's not a good look. So then the worst case scenario is he's a criminal. The best case scenario, he's a bit of a pervert. I think that's what we're looking at now. So, I mean, the factors here are why I don't think his reputation ever fully recovers, because even if he's able to either win or settle these cases, and if no criminal convictions come from this, then even if he's able to kind of clear himself from any criminal wrongdoing, I don't think he's ever really going to clear his reputation, because there's just something about this that doesn't smell right, okay? And I don't want to make it sound like I'm all aboard, convicting him in the court of public opinion. I'm just giving you my take on it. And at the end of the day, I'll say the same thing now that I said a month ago. I hope he's innocent, because if he's innocent, that means sexual assaults didn't take place. So I hope he's innocent. But it's hard to watch and listen to what Ashley Solis had to say and think she's a liar. It's very hard to come to that conclusion. So you ask me, where do I stand now with this case and what's changed in my point of view? These are the things that have changed in my point of view. It's a lot more powerful now that you have, two women putting their names behind it, one of them putting her testimony, in-person video testimony behind it, and there are too many accusers to ignore here. All right, when we come back, we're going to lighten the mood a little bit, I hope. We're going to talk some Miami Heat basketball with Giancarlo Navas of Miami Heat Beat. He's going to join us on the other side. Hey, we would like to thank A Shade Above Window Fashions in Davie, 954-434-4774. A Shade Above teamed up with Bandalux to personalize and create the Onside Radio shade in beautiful pink and black, Rosa Negra, to order protection with style for your home or office like we did. Call A Shade Above Window Fashions, 954-434-4774. Go to the website, ashadeaboveflorida.com. Love the space you live in. A Shade Above Window Fashions.
We'll be right back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. Onside Radio, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan. Listen to every Inter-Miami CF match on your home for La Rosa Negra, OnsideRadio.com. Catch us every day on the MyTuner Radio app. If you missed Onside Zone with Big O, you missed.
She's kind of young, so I don't know. She may not be into Van Halen much. Let's see. Ruthie, good afternoon. Are you a Van Halen fan?
You know, I just had to Google Van Halen. I'm not going to lie to you. I just literally have it on my computer right now.
The Onside Zone with Big O. Weekdays 11 to 1 p.m. Only on OnsideRadio.com.
Join the Inter Miami family in 2021 by becoming a 2021 season ticket member. Enjoy enhanced access benefits and pricing not available to general fans. Visit intermiamicf.com/tickets for more information.
Parents, we know we can't protect our kids from everything. Eventually, they're going to bump their heads or scrape their knees. But we can protect them from 6 types of cancer. HPV, or human papillomavirus, is a common preventable virus that can cause cancer later in life. The HPV vaccine prevents human papillomavirus and all the cancers it can cause. The American Cancer Society recommends getting your sons and daughters the HPV vaccine starting at age 9 to protect them later in life.
He has an overbite that makes him look like a cartoon character, a slightly crooked eye, and an uncommonly wrinkly neck. In the right light, he can look a little like a garden gnome, and he'll wear a bow tie just because. Sure, you might call him a little quirky, but that's exactly what makes him so perfect. Tuna is a 3-year-old Chihuahua Dachshund mix with more than 700,000 followers on Instagram, and it all started because he was adopted. You can't buy a best friend like Tuna, but you can adopt one. Help us save them all at bestfriends.org.
Keeping you informed in the world of sports. With an OnsideRadio.com sports update.
Today, Nike and Beats have suspended their endorsement deal with Deshaun Watson amid the sexual assault allegations. It was a losing night in South Florida sports as the Heat fell to the Memphis Grizzlies 124-112, despite Jimmy Butler's 28 points and Bam Adebayo's triple-double. Their next game is at the AAA Thursday as they welcome the LA Lakers. The Panthers fell to the Carolina Hurricanes 5-2. Alexander Barkov had 2 goals, and Vincent Trocheck continued his good play against his former team with a goal and an assist. They are back on the ice Thursday in Carolina once again. And the Miami Marlins dropped Game 2 of their 3-game series against St. Louis Cardinals last night 4-2. The Fish are back at it for Game 3 at 4:05 today with Pablo Lopez on the mound for your Fish. This is South Florida's home for local sports talk. This is OnsideRadio.com, and coming up is more Man of the Match with Alex Donno right here on OnsideRadio.com.
You're listening to the station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnsideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
Man, the Miami Heat dropped a disappointing one at home, 124-112 to the Memphis Grizzlies. Every team in Florida took L's yesterday. Even the teams like the Toronto Raptors and Blue Jays who are playing down here, they all lost. We all took L's. I was disappointed with the Heat, though. We have a lot to get to with the Heat. We bring on our very good friend, Giancarlo Navas from Miami Heat Beat. Giancarlo, how you doing, man?
Good, man, Donald. Good. Well, I mean, not good. I mean, our game last night. But other than that, we moved.
Now, I think this is an appropriate question because on and everyone can follow Giancarlo on Twitter at gnavas103, but his Twitter name is Kyle Lowry Lifer. So I got to ask you, how much better shape would the Heat be in right now had they acquired Kyle Lowry at the deadline?
I mean, I think it also depends what the deal ended up being because Duncan has been a flamethrower since the trade deadline. But I mean, they'd be better. I mean, I love Victor. I think Depot's good. He's gonna. I thought he played pretty well yesterday. I think that the defense is clearly there and the offense will come, and he allows them the flexibility to play kind of certain defensive looks that they really want to get to. So, I mean, not that Kyle wouldn't, but whatever. I mean, they would be better with Lowry, of course. He's just a better offensive player. He's just a smarter guy. He's not as explosive which kind of looks. Sometimes Depot looks out of place because he's like the only guy with burst on the team. So I always think that's funny. But I mean, they'd be better, man. I mean, Kyle is one of the best point guards in the league. You know, he's at least one of the top 3 point guards in the conference. You know, if that's not maybe like a little better. I mean, I'm a little biased, of course, but I mean, he would give them so many different looks on both ends that listen. Duncan's been good though, so we got to take the positives. Yeah. Duncan's been a flamethrower. He's back. We're back, baby.
That's a fair point. And the Heat did make a move yesterday. They agreed to sign Dwayne Dedmon, who they had been monitoring him, you know, throughout his rehab. What do you think of this move, and what's the actual impact going to be? Is this just an insurance policy where if anything happens to Bam, you don't have to rely too much on Precious? I mean, how do you view the Dedmon move, and how much can he add to this team?
I viewed it. I was like, damn, they really don't trust Precious.
Yep.
I mean, one thing is bringing LaMarcus Aldridge. The other thing is Dedmon, who has a. It was okay. Well, they haven't played in a year. But at least the last time they played, they were good, right? Like Ariza had, you know, you could say, 40% from shooting, you know, good run with the Blazers, and Iguodala was in the finals, right? So you can at least look, okay, the last time I saw them play basketball, even though it was a year ago, they were good. Dedmon was not good. That Atlanta set did not go well because the last time he played well was in Sacramento.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's where I give pause. You know, our good friend and colleague, Nekias Duncan, over at Basketball News was like very pro Dedmon, and I was like, you're like a little. You know, you're a little too gung-ho on a guy that we haven't seen be good at basketball in 2 years. I do think that he'll give them a little bit of lineup versatility, which is always good with the SPO team. They have a couple more 2 big lineups. They can go Bjelica Bam. They can go Dedmon Bam. They can go Dedmon Bjelica. They can even go Dedmon Precious, right? They can do a lot of things, right, with kind of the versatility that they have. And I just think he's going to be a third big, Donno. I think mostly he's going to be insurance. I think mostly if you're not liking the defensive looks. I thought yesterday was a good example of where he could have helped. I mean, they were fronting and helping whenever Valanciunas got an early seal, you know, down in the low post or down in the restricted area. And that's how the Heat play defense. And it's always been that way. If you remember the big 3 teams, how they defended Roy Hibbert was they were fronting the post and they were helping and recovering and rotating. Yesterday, that rotation was not there. They were late all over the place. And maybe if you got a stronger, more veteran savvy defender on Jonas, you know, you don't have to help as much as often. So he will provide them with some of that, especially against Embiid. Now, like yesterday, my thing was, well, I mean, if you can't do it about Valanciunas, I mean, like, good luck against Embiid. Also, Embiid has a negative assist-to-turnover ratio. He's not as quick a passer out of the post as Valanciunas. It is kind of funny to say because Embiid's like an MVP talks, and obviously he's amazing, but you know, they want the versatility in their lineups. They want a big that can play with Bam or without him. I think that's also kind of really important to what they do. And they don't have to, unlike LaMarcus Aldridge or like a Blake Griffin, they don't got to promise this dude a role. It's like he's going to come in and he's a professional and, he's been around, he knows. And he's looks like a Heat player, right?
That's true.
He looks like a grizzled veteran Heat player.
And the Heat still have one more roster spot they have to fill, right? So what direction do you think they go in?
I think that's it, right? I think they got to 15. No, I could be wrong.
Oh, I thought they still had. I thought they still had one more. Now maybe I'm wrong. Is that right? Can you confirm that, Alex? Because I thought they still had. But
I'll look into it.
I thought that was.
But I remember Ira when he came on with Big O, he was talking about that they had 2 more open spots left. I think Dedmon will take up 1, but
right.
all they need is 14, I believe.
You're right. They do have another one because they needed to they had to get to 14. They couldn't. Yeah, so they have another one.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if a guy like Marc Gasol gets bought out, they go that direction. I'd like that very much.
Me too.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, they have. I don't really think they need another big. I mean, Gasol is like a difference because Marc Gasol would like legitimately be a difference maker on this team. Would completely take Bjelica's minutes. As of now, they have like 4 wings, 3 guards, and 2 bigs that are like for sure in their playoff rotation. So Jimmy, Bam, Goran, Duncan, Ariza, Oladipo, Iguodala, Hero, and Bjelica. Now with Dedmon, you can say, well, 3 bigs potentially, and then they have KZ and Precious and Gabe and Nunn in break in case of emergency. I don't really think you're going to get much of an upgrade over any of those guys. So I mean, it's a wait and see who gets bought out.
We're joined here by Giancarlo Navas, who does an awesome job on Miami Heat beat. Your view on Oladipo so far? Is he being maybe a little bit too selfless? He's obviously not really put together the shooting nights yet that we're hoping for. What are you seeing there?
Well, he's not like a good shooter, right? So for me, how are his pull-ups looking, right? Like, are those dropping? Because he's going to have those all the time. Teams are going to go way under. And that's how the Heat have been defended all year. People are sinking really low into the paint. They're going under screens. They're waiting for the drive. And Jimmy's been able to kind of mitigate that with his incredible season. It's been tough on Dragic whenever he's played. I think Tyler's been mostly, like, not good to, like, okay when teams drop really low against him. I mean, his mid-range pull-up this year has been, like, really, really good. Oladipo's the quickest guy on the team, has the most burst, can get to the rim, has the most kind of package, right, in terms of, like, a quick guy. And if they're going to sink and send help, he needs to be able to hit that pull-up reliably. We haven't seen that yet. The free throw shooting has also kind of been a little which is a little concerning because, that's usually indicative of how you shoot.
Right.
So I would watch those things. I do think that he helps them get into early offense a little quicker. A big complaint of mine with the Heat is they play at the slowest pace in the league, and they take forever to get into their sets. And I think that's like mostly okay, except when you're not a good offense and you take, 10 to 12 seconds to set up your dribble handoff, if a team switches that action or if a team blows it up or sends help and you got to reset, now you're looking at 8 on the shot clock, and now you really got to hurry. So I don't really like, especially not with them. They're not the kind of offensive team that can just, make something out of nothing. Like, hardened teams are really slow, and that's fine because if a team switches or if they blow up an action, you have a bunch of playmakers that can make something happen. Utah is similar with kind of how Jordan Clarkson works for them and Joe Ingles and all that stuff. Miami doesn't have that luxury. So I like Oladipo kind of getting them a little quicker. You see, like, when they kind of push in transition, he'll attack pretty quickly. They don't really have to set. He'll trigger early. Those are things I like, and those are positive things to me because their offense sometimes can really get bogged down, and some of it's other teams, and some of the time they shoot themselves in the foot.
Yeah, I was hoping for a routine W last night. It didn't happen. So the Heat are technically the 6th seed right now, but they've got the same, or at least the same margin of victory against Charlotte. I think Charlotte's technically in front of them because they've played fewer games. So they're obviously
that's the tiebreaker too.
Yeah,
they won.
That's right.
They won.
Yeah. I think that's what it is, the tiebreaker. So the Heat are only one game out of 4th. But they're also only, one game out of 8th, one game above 8th.
Eastern Conference, baby.
You got to love the Eastern Conference. So how important does the Lakers game become tomorrow night? And are the Heat going to right the wrongs and get the dub tomorrow?
That team stinks.
Yep.
Okay, if you can't beat Dennis Schroeder, I'm sorry. Listen, Memphis plays really physical and they really rough them up, and the Heat just a struggle. It's like Orlando, right? The Heat weirdly struggle with Orlando, and they have since LeBron left. It's the strangest thing. Like, Evan Fournier was like Goran Dragic's father for 5 years. It was the weirdest thing in the world. Just sometimes teams have your number. I think Memphis is just a weird team. Dylan Brooks had 1 million points in the third quarter,
oh my God,
and that guy's not a good shooter, and he did a lot of that work with Jimmy on him. And at that point, you're just like, whatever. That team sucks on offense. The funny thing about that was, and it's something that my buddy Nikai brought up, he's like, well, Memphis takes a lot of floaters and mid-ranges. And the Heat, by switching everything, force them into threes and layups, which is like they force Memphis to do a good shot profile, which is just funny about their defense. They better win on Thursday. It's one game in the regular season doesn't mean anything. They have too many bad losses. They need to get the easy ones. Their schedule, it ranges from really hard to really easy.
Yeah.
It's very strange going forward. I mean, they got to get the gimme against the Lakers on the road without their best players. I know that they just clobbered the Raptors, but listen, this team has championship aspirations. You gotta, when you need a game, you gotta be able to beat Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah.
There's no two ways about it. We can sit here and talk analytics and how they run their offense and all, but we do. At the end of the day, you gotta beat these bad teams, right? And then you gotta up your record against the better teams because we know that the Heat can hang with anybody, and we've seen them at their best. I think that Utah game earlier in the season was really indicative of look how they look when they fire on all cylinders, right? And they beat up a bunch of bad teams just now. You got to keep that going because they just can't keep doing this.
Hey, have you been watching Champions League? You're a Real Madrid fan, right? Or do I have that?
No, I'm a Liverpool fan. How dare you?
I don't know why. I I get people's allegiances confused all the time. And
we don't want to talk about yesterday, Alex. Why you gotta bring up bad stuff? I thought we were here to have fun.
My bad.
Why you gotta bring up painful memories?
The thing is, for some reason, I thought you were a Real Madrid fan, so I was going to congratulate you. But instead, I ended up just insulting you because you're a Liverpool fan. So now I feel terrible.
We kicked their ass for most of that game, and I'm still mad. I'm just like, we can't catch a break. We're good once. I've lived my whole life, not being good, and then we're finally good, and then it was only for one season, and now we can't win. At least we beat Arsenal. God.
Yeah, well, listen, it's the last couple of years have not been a bad time to be a Liverpool fan. You got Champions League 2 years ago. You finally won the EPL again last year. So, I'm
a Federer fan and a Heat fan. I'm used to constant success.
That's
hard.
true. God, that's very true. Yeah. Oh, well, I'm sorry,
man.
man.
I'm a privileged sports person and a U.S. Women's National Team fan, so I'm used to domination, okay?
Well, I think the women's national team should be good for like another 20 years. I'm not really expecting anyone to overtake them anytime soon.
For infinity. I think we're good for infinity.
You're probably good there.
We're good for infinity. We're good. We're the best. Listen, nobody can touch us.
I appreciate
we sleepwalk on these people. Yeah.
It's so true. I appreciate your
Roosevelt
time, man.
Coming for you guys. Let me tell you. Kristen Press, one of the best strikers in the world. I love her. She's the best. She's delightful. They're honestly the most fun team I've ever covered. They're so fun and quirky and great and awesome with the media. I love them. If anybody's not watching them, please watch them. They're the most delightful group of people ever.
Yeah, I support the U.S. women's national team a lot more than I support the U.S. men's national team, because in men's soccer, my allegiance is for the Italian national team, because that's my father's from Italy. I grew up watching them, so I root for the U.S. MNT, but the Italian women's team has never been good. So I've always leaned towards the U.S. team. So
I boycotted the men. I boycotted them after they failed. Not the failing to qualify didn't bother me.
Right.
I mean, the playing Omar Gonzalez a bunch did bother me, but it was when they went to the Gold Cup after and they brought mostly the same team with Omar Gonzalez and then started him. And at that point, I said, you know what? If you don't care, I don't care. Wow. And I haven't watched since. And I love soccer. I grew up soccer, and I grew up a U.S. men's national team fan. My father is Colombian, my mother's Italian, and they watch their things. But I was like, no, I was born in America. I'm going to root for the American team. And they suck the life. I wondered if that's how Dolphins fans feel. You just get the life zapped out of you.
That's how a lot of Marlins fans feel. I think
Marlins is probably better. Yeah, but the Dolphins had the early. I guess Marlins too. Both of them have really early success, and then fandom just beats you down, and there's no hope in the horizon, and you have Pulisic, and you're like, aren't we supposed to be good? And nope.
There's something about Dolphin fans are masochistic. We're gluttons for punishment. Honestly, they could be bad for another 20 years, and I think I would still come back for more. But with the Marlins, I tolerated 3 fire sales, and then I was out.
That's the NFL though, because the NFL always dangles hope in front of you, right? It's no, yeah, this next draft guy, whatever, you're gonna be bad. But the Dolphins have been weird because they've been 500 forever, 6-9 or. Right, or 7-9, whatever the record is, and listen. I feel for you guys that are. I mean, I'm not a football fan, but I feel for y'all over there. That doesn't look very fun unless you're one of the good teams.
Yeah, we're gonna be good, man. We're gonna bring in Kyle Pitts, Super Bowl in 2 years. Don't even worry about it.
I'm happy for y'all.
It's fine. Giancarlo Navas. You want to follow him on Twitter at @GNavas103, and of course check out his work on the excellent Miami Heat beat. In fact, we're going to do a lot of Heat beat this week. We're going to have on Alf from Hangover Time tomorrow. So
oh no!
He's gonna. I'm gonna tell him all the points you made, and he's probably just going to say the opposite of everything.
We agree. It's shocking. We do so after every game day, we do a session on the locker room app. Call it recovery time, the morning after Hangover Time. And Alf and I were shockingly agreed, and I was like, Alf, we never agreed. He's like, this is weird. So press him though. Press him. He loves to slander me. So you'll get something out of him. You don't have to push too hard.
We're gonna do that. Enjoy the rest of your day, man. Thank you so much for the time.
I appreciate y'all.
I love it. I didn't realize that I was opening up Pandora's box. I don't know why I thought he was a Real Madrid fan. I always and you know what? People always get my allegiances wrong too. Who was it? Somebody called me an AC Milan fan yesterday, and I jumped off the table. I was so upset. I've been called a Juventus fan before, so I don't feel bad about it. I don't know why I thought Giancarlo was a Real Madrid fan. He's actually a Liverpool. I didn't even get the country right, but he's actually a Liverpool fan. So I was sorry to bring up fresh wounds from their L yesterday. 844-416-8123. We'll wrap up the 3 o'clock hour when we come back. You're listening to the only locally owned sports station in South Florida, OnSideRadio.com.
We'll be right back to the man of the match with Alex Donno. You can join us on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623. You're listening to the only sports station in South Florida that likes to take your calls, 888-441-4623. We connect with a South Florida sports fan because we are South Florida, locally owned and operated. 888-441-4623. OnSideRadio.com, South Florida's home for real sports talk. You can connect with us at OnSideRadio.com by sending us a text at 844-416-8123. Save it on your cell phone, 844-416-8123. No better place to send your comments, ask questions, win prizes. OnSideRadio.com, the only choice for the South Florida sports fan.
For over 20 years, Mr. Glass has been committed to the safety and satisfaction of our clients. Our products are the culmination of innovative engineering, aesthetic appeal, and the highest levels of quality. Through our legacy, Mr. Glass strives to impart the true meaning of quality, service, and sustainability to new generations. Reputation, experience, and trust is why clients choose Mr. Glass. Live the future now. Locate a dealer near you today.
At Baptist Health, we are ready
to serve, to treat,
to safely proceed with your procedure.
We're ready for ER visits and office visits with skilled surgeons,
advanced medicine,
and multidisciplinary teams.
We're ready for new arrivals
and new recoveries.
We are ready.
We're ready to diagnose, treat, and manage
anything that comes our way
with exceptional care and comfort.
With the same preparedness and compassion you've come to expect from Baptist Health.
And we are ready.
We're ready.
We're ready
to care for you.
Can I get a captain?
Captain and what?
Captain and Ginger.
I can't hear you.
Captain and Ginger.
He was a captain and ginger. Captain and ginger. He was a captain and ginger.
Captain Morgan, official partner of Major League Soccer.
Every Thursday, NBA fans can catch one of the best basketball shows in the country when Ethan Skolnick and Ira Winderman host Inside the Paint. Listen to two of the most knowledgeable and connected reporters in the business. Get year-round insight every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. with Inside the Paint on the home for hardcore basketball fans. OnSideRadio.com.
Big O for M&S Air Conditioning. You know, air quality in your home and business is more important than ever. That's why you've got to call M&S Air Conditioning and let them install a high-efficiency polarized air filter in your AC unit. Folks, it attracts, captures, and destroys biological contaminants to improve your air quality. With stellar customer service, answering your call from 7:30 a.m. till 9 o'clock p.m. For more info on high-efficiency air filters and their preventative maintenance plans, visit M&S Air Conditioning at ac-florida.com.
You're listening to the station with more live and local sports talk than anyone else in South Florida. OnSideRadio.com. Broadcasting from South Florida to the world.
Big news, Miami fans! Body Armor is proud to be the new official sports drink of Major League Soccer and Inter Miami CF. It doesn't matter if you're a player or a fan, Body Armor sports drink will hydrate you with potassium-packed electrolytes, antioxidants, and no artificial sweeteners, flavors, or dyes. Whether you're at home or in the starting lineup, Body Armor sports drink will hydrate you from kickoff to the final whistle. Body Armor, now the official sports drink of Inter Miami CF, available at your local Publix.
You're listening to the only sports station in South Florida that likes to take your calls. 888-441-4623. We connect with a South Florida sports fan because we are South Florida, locally owned and operated. 888-441-4623. OnSideRadio.com. South Florida's home for real sports talk. Welcome back to the Man of the Match with Alex Donno. You can reach out anytime on the Onside Sports Line, 888-441-4623. That's 888-441-4623.
So, 4 o'clock, I want to open up the phone lines. We got some folks who want to talk a little football with us, maybe about this Deshaun Watson situation. We talked about it in the roundtable segment earlier in the 3 p.m. hour. Huge thanks to Giancarlo Navas for joining us. Keep it locked right here until 6 o'clock. The YouTube stream is up and running, by the way. We've been up for about the last 34 minutes. So go to YouTube app or youtube.com, search Onside Radio. Make sure you subscribe to our station, and once you're in watching the live stream, smash that like button. Smash the thumbs up button, because the more likes we get, the more the video is going to get pumped out, the more people are going to see it. So we appreciate everyone in. I see our guy Herman is on board. Andy from Scotland is on board. It's prime time over there in Scotland. I think it's 9 p.m. over there. I Kick Ass 44 is in. He was talking about Giancarlo. He said he's a Raptors fan. He needs to stop lying to himself. I know he's a Kyle Lowry fan. I will kick off the 4 o'clock hour when we come back here on Onside Radio. Hey, over the last 30 years, South Florida fans have always been able to count on one radio show that gives you the brutal honesty you need. Orlando Alzagari and the Onside Zone, daily from noon to 3 p.m., exclusively at OnsideRadio.com.
OnSideRadio.com knows gamers need a home.
Can you dig it?
That's why for the next 60 seconds,
Can you count, suckers?
here's your Onside Radio E-Report with Kai Chen Chisholm.
100th